We're all set with broadcast.
What?
We are all set with broadcast.
Okay, great. Machine learning, that's really. Great. And can we put on the other side the homework of what chapter is it? ERP, chapter 2. Use that right.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll sit down. What is it?
It was chapter, it was chapter 10. ERP was the quiz. And then put the next thing after you do that is the website needs to be published and draft of the app. And then also put in there which certificate too.
In the homework?
What?
In the homework with certificate? Or?
Here. Yeah, those are the two. Turn on and turn off. Did you get my notes?
Thank you.
Ask me at the end when go over them. These are fine. If you are having an issue, then you want to go ahead and
I just found this on the floor. I would assume this from somebody else.
Can you imagine the debit card? Let's talk about fraud today, huh? You know what? gonna just go to one, can you just check here why we're not able to get screen share?
Hmm?
Just, I don't know if we need to cancel. See how it's grayed out?
Yeah.
Is that very close? Oh. It worked. Just a couple. Okay, great. Okay. How are we doing? Maybe we can do this.
UMPD or
What?
who would be like, oh, it's a
You
lost and
went-
found item.
Huh?
It's
They're
cool.
lost and found?
I don't know.
Maybe call you.
Business technology tutor.
UN police, and just ask them where, tell them it's not emergency, but we found a credit card for the
Is
police.
it the front desk, like, or the business school help desk?
Business technology.
Oh, I don't know what I heard.
I think 17, was it 1776?
We didn't
They had lost
find
and found.
Oh, we're not doing something in particular, right? Oh, okay. I just thought she wants us to do that.
Okay,
whatever
let's
that
start
is.
doing,
Sorry, I
a
don't
roll.
know
Who
many
wants
people
to
in
start
this
the
class.
roll?
I'm just like sitting in the corner and like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's
Start
why
a roll.
I was like,
Put,
who are those
the
people?
date on the top, for, you as number 1, but put the column heading, first name, last name, phone, and then put the website URL,
What is the first number to dial?
8, 1776.
Dr. Marmy?
Try 1771. They have a card.
Hey, I'm in Stubblefield 204, and I found some other card on the ground, but I was wondering if I could contact about that. Okay.
our name tags up. Okay, questions before we begin? My mic on? Testing, 1, 2, 3, okay. Everybody have their name tags? If you don't have one, make a new one. There's some markers up in front and some papers. Get his name also, and who was it? So what is your name?
My name is Steven. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a note. I'm going to leave it on my supervisor's desk, and I guess we'll leave a note in here saying if whoever lost it can come pick it up.
Oh, okay. And then, you know what, do me a favor, reach out, I don't know if she's still in her office, Wendy Chun.
Mm-hmm. I'll send her an email.
Send her an email and tell, and with the name of the student, maybe that you have it, okay? It may have been from her class.
All right.
Okay, thank you. So whose desk are you gonna put it on? Okay.
Supervisors.
Who's a supervisor? Who knows? Right, okay. All right, the supervisor. So if he goes and he does it. Okay, so how are we doing here? Okay, welcome back, folks. What I want to do tonight is I want to go over the area of artificial intelligence, something called ML, what I have on the board, which is machine learning, deep learning, talking about the applications. We'll also talk about artificial neural networks I'll describe for you. We'll also go over Wix. Remember Wix was here last time, and Wix certificate, and we'll talk about the homework as well. So let's do some housekeeping. So I'm going to go to our regular section. Please do that as well with me. I'm going to assignments. So the last chapter we had was Tech Guide 4, which was artificial intelligence. We have 2 more sessions before you do your presentations. The next one we'll cover is chapter 10, which is ERP. So who can tell me what ERP stands for? Yes, Rachel? Enterprise resource planning. Very good. And what does that mean? What's an enterprise, Rachel? You're on a roll. A business. Give me an example of an enterprise you know. Pardon? Amazon. What's another one that you know in the enterprise? That you're a part of, really, in some ways. University, right, is an enterprise, right? And so what is enterprise resource planning? Is software that will make that runs across the entire enterprise, that looks at the future planning of its resources. So what do I need to do? I need to edit the test options. It's chapter 10 ERP, which stands for what? Enterprise. You can put it in your notes then. Resource planning. Who works for the university here? Part-time, anyone? So Kayla, how do you then record your hours?
Through Workday.
Through Workday. So Workday is what? Is it hardware or software?
Software.
It's software. What type of software do you think it is? Does it work throughout the enterprise?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So what type of software do you think it is? Look on the board right here. Right here.
Enterprise resource plan.
Yes. That would, hopefully, right? So basically that, and what does Workday do? Workday will then make it available, payroll, financials, human resources, you know, HR, have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
So that human resources along that way. Now, do you see it?
Yes.
Yes. So that's available. When does that due, James? Next class. Everybody clear? Next class, enterprise resource planning to have. And then we'll just do, after that, we'll just do one more chapter, which will be on software. And it'll be, that we'll do the following one. Okay? That's number one. Number two, go to your course documents. Go to PowerPoint, PPT, and go towards the end. And I'm going to download Tech Guide. I'm going to open that. And go all the way down. Everybody with me? Go into Blackboard. Go into the KY, your regular section. Now go into the Miami Wix at the end, core portfolio. You see this? March 2019 PDF. Open that up. This was the presentation that was presented last week for Wix, where Wix came from, one of the representatives from New York City came to offer us an academic partnership to use Wix. And they went through how to use it in a website. And your content. And you can go through the slide. These are the slides. So you have their slides, the do's and don'ts of a good website. And this, you remember, you can take a shot of it again if you didn't get this last time. This is the code that you can get a full year premium version for free if you use this code at the very end. And then they have a Wix certificate. At the end of this course, you can submit your website to Wix, to the folks at Wix, including the person from New York City. And your Wix certificate should include text, images, navigation menu, social media, apps, mobile optimization, and professional design. So can you do me a favor also, Alex, and put under published website, put next to it social media as well. So when you do your website, I'd like you to also set up a social media account with your website. So either Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, something that you can assess with that. And then the requirements, these are the requirements, look at these, are the requirements which you need in order to get certified. The site has to be at least 4 pages, which everybody's website here has to be 4 pages anyways, including the home page, rather about me, it would be about our team, contact, and information. The site has to be easy to navigate. The student needs to know how to add elements, apps, and customize them. All sites are designed for both the desktop and mobile, so you have to check on your mobile device to see if you can see it well. Overall, the design is clear, easy to read. The site uses images that fit the site's theme. You should have, this is required also for our project as well. The site has social media links and they're properly connected. And if you're using one of the advanced features, we'll also check that the app settings are properly defined. This is the certificate you will get. You'll get a Wix certificate of completion with your name and with the management from Wix for the Wix basic course. And any questions, you can see you have Caitlin's address right there in the question. Once you finish, I suggest that you go ahead and submit. And they'll give you feedback of what's not missing. Why not include that also, what you have. Any questions? So put this in your notes that you have. Where's the roll? Where's that? Who has the roll? Okay, make sure that it moves around. Who hasn't signed it? Okay. So please pass it when you finish. Okay. Next. Now what I want you to do is in your regular section, I want you to go to web links. Everybody with me? Go to web links in your regular section. And I want you to scroll all the way down. Everybody see these links? They're on the board. So, AI in business, rapid, minor, big day difference, AI, machine learning, deep learning, and Google Deep Learning. These 4 links I want you to address for next week. So can you be so kind, also put that on? AI links, last 4 on the web links. So, I'm going to click on the first one. You can do that as well. And this is AI in business. And this is my question to you. What topic did we cover? What was the last quiz that we did in the chapter? What was the topic we covered last week? Who remembers? I know it's so long ago. Cloud computing.
The middle one works.
And Kayla, what do you remember about cloud computing?
One example of it is Amazon Web Services,
Okay.
and they have like a pay-as-you-go format, so you don't have to
Okay, so who can tell me tonight, and why I'm asking this, this can be, you remember when we talked about open-ended questions? I bet if I had to wager, 2 areas which would be good questions on the final. Cloud computing and that area of AI. And how does cloud computing enhance artificial intelligence in business? So first we have to go back to cloud computing. What's the purpose of cloud computing? Okay, what's the purpose of cloud computing? What would you say?
I'm not sure.
What does it do? What's cloud computing? Yes.
It allows you to like scale your business without having servers on site.
Oh, right. So what is the purpose of cloud computing? Basically, think about this. Cloud computing, you're using it all the time and you're not even aware of it. Cloud computing allows you to use computer resources via browser that you do not have to maintain. Let's repeat that again. Cloud computing allows a user or an enterprise to use computer resources on demand without having to support or purchase those computer resources. Do you have an email address, Kate? Which email do you have? What do you use? You have
The school's
Few.
email.
the school's email,
Yeah.
which is what? Outlook, right?
Yeah.
The university used to have what they called on-premises. And what does on-premises mean? Put it in your notes, Kate. Everybody put this in their notes. On-premise. Remember, we got the help desk coming over here? These computers right here in the lab are on-premise, right? They're part of the lab. Does the university have to buy them? Yes, right? They just didn't come from the air, right? They have to purchase them. Do they have to maintain them? You remember, why were we in the beginning of this lab for NinjaTrader? What did they have to do? They had to download the software, right? And install it on what? On each of these machines? Did it always work? No? Remember, they had to do it over and over again. Sometimes you had to switch machines. They had to maintain, they had to do upgrades. That's all done by a staff. When you think about it, in cloud computing, if we had a version of NinjaTrader in the cloud, what would it be? If NinjaTrader was hosted in the cloud, what would it be? Via a browser on any computer, you could gain access to the NinjaTrader and use it there. So cloud computing allows an enterprise or an end user to decide for someone to basically what we call host their application. Put it in your notes then, host. They can take care of the hardware, they can take care of the software, they can take care of the storage, they can take care of the memory. So if we need more memory, we need more hard disk space, what do? James, what do? If I need more, we're doing sophisticated algorithms. What do? I just ask for more memory. And they will allot me or provision more memory. If we were in the lab and we had to do it, what would you have to do? You would have to request what? The computer center here to give you more memory on these machines. How long would that take? It'd take a while. And how about if you finish the project? Would you need that memory anymore? No. So what are you going to tell them? Take out the memory? And what are they going to do with the memory? And then these machines, are they old? When they're gonna be upgraded, what do they have to do? They're gonna have to remove these. We're gonna have to even put it somewhere in surplus. We have to take all these machines out and what? And put in new machines. Is that gonna be more staff? Somebody has to know how to run NinjaTrader and install it. Somebody has to run, basically, Kate was saying he uses Outlook. Somebody has to basically run the Outlook for the entire university. So what they've done is Microsoft owns Outlook. So they say, guess what? We'll have a subscription in the cloud. You pay us monthly. You tell me how many users you have. We'll take care of the software. We'll take care of the hardware. And the students will what? All they have to do is just log on via web browser. That's cloud computing. Does that make sense? Okay? You're looking at me like I fell from the moon. So tell me in your own words what you understood. Or if I was just talking to myself, or I didn't make any sense.
I was a little confused.
About what?
Basically, they have like the main version, like Microsoft, and then
We don't have to, the university here doesn't have to take care of the software.
yeah.
The university here doesn't have to take care of having a server to load it onto the university. And when they get a new version of Outlook, the staff here doesn't have to upload it and implement it. And then let's say the university doubles in size, that they need to have more users or they shrink. On demand, they can say, I want for 10,000 students, I want email addresses. On demand, hosted in the cloud. Do you have a Gmail account?
Yeah.
So basically, how do you get to your Gmail?
Through the app.
Through the app and through what? A browser, right? Through the internet. That's a cloud application. Who's hosting it? Google. Right?
Okay. And then the host.
They're the host.
Okay.
Rather than, in the past, university used to take Outlook and they said, okay, we'll install it on a server, we'll install it on every computer, we'll give every student to download it. It's a lot of resources. Instead, they're giving it to Microsoft, saying, Microsoft, you be kind of like our IT division, you take care of it. So how do they make money? Is they have so many millions, they do it for themselves, they have so many millions of users, it's economies of scale. So now you tell me in your own words what you understood.
Okay. Basically, it allows like the user enterprise to do all this without having the hardware or the software because the host does it for them, and all they have to do is do a simple thing log in.
It's easy when you know, and you know it already. You just don't use those words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just never thought about it as cloud computing. You just like, hey, that's how I use all my apps, right?
Yeah.
I go to them. You just take it for granted. But large organizations traditionally have housed all their computers in-house, bought all the hardware, bought all the software, had a whole IT group to take care of that. And if you needed something as an employee, you would have to go to that group. So it's the same thing like Workday. Kayla, you sign in, log in. It used to be University of Miami had their own software for payroll and for timing. So somebody had to take care of that software. Now what are they doing with Workday? What do you think they are? Workday takes care of it. When they make upgrades, what's going to happen? Does the university have to worry about the upgrades? They install the upgrades. If there's a problem with it running, the university does. What's the disadvantage? The disadvantage is you're relying on them. The disadvantage, if we don't have internet access, we can't usually get to it. Sometimes we can work offline and then get it uploaded. Everybody with me on what cloud computing is? So now, we have to figure out what is, if you look at this, This is AI in business. You can see a number of different ones. It says Microsoft launches free AI business, empowering transformation, perspectives on AI, Stanford, here. Building a chatbot without utterances. Everybody here with me? Everybody go to AIbusiness.com. Everybody there? Join me there at AI. Maddie, are you there? AIbusiness.com. And if you scroll down to the middle, you'll see it says building a chatbot without utterances. And since the emergence of integrated chatbots within messaging apps like WeChat, anybody know WeChat?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? What is WeChat? Women?
It's like WhatsApp. It's just a social networking and contact with people.
Right.
And you can pay in WeChat, such as Apple Pay
Okay, so like Apple Pay, so it's really popular where?
in China.
In China, right? It's like the most popular. And Facebook Messenger, anybody ever hear of Facebook Messenger? Yeah, sure. Basically, companies are increasingly realizing they need to be there, be where their customer is. So in your notes, you can think about it. The purpose of AI is to be able to do a couple of things. One is to be more efficient. Two, to either increase my revenue or decrease my costs. And four, get closer to my customer. So building a chatbot without utterances the question is how is a company going to create a chatbot how would they do that? We're a company. We're a university, University X, and we want to create a chatbot that we can talk to our users, that the computer basically can get questions from the user, and we want the bot to interact. So what would we have to do? Blaze, what do you think we would have to do? We want to start, right? We got a great idea. We want to start. What was your project? Remind me. Your project for your class.
Oh, it's a ride app where you can, a safe way to get a driver.
Okay, a safe way to get a driver. So let's say we wanted to create a chat bot for your app. And when people type in, that the computer will understand what they were saying.
We would need a software.
You would need software. And we could reinvent the wheel and try to do a software that understands natural language, understands speech, understands text. But in today's world, put this in, what people do is they use already created apps or created web services to do that already. Just like Amazon is selling you Amazon Web Services because they've already used cloud computing for themselves, they're selling basically what they've done already to other people. Look at this. Currently, there's a short list of key software providers capable of designing and launching a chat bot. The most relevant of the current scene are Google Dataflow, Inventen, Amazon Alexa. Anybody hear that? Alexa? Basically what you can do, Alexa is, you can buy what from Amazon? Anybody bought anything from Amazon on the IoT with Alexa? Anybody ever use it? Basically it's what? It's a device you can have at home and you can speak to it and it'll answer what's the weather, what's my schedule for today. want to create that, let's say, on Blazes, people talk to it to give me my rides. What you can do then is you don't have to create it on your own. Amazon has a chat bot already, and you just link it into your application. Google already has a chat bot, you link it into your application. Microsoft already has a chat bot, you link it into yours. So, how smart, so you can have, for combating fraud, so here, chatbot, when you're going to be using it in a FET, they have, who's heard of a webmaster? Anybody hears of a webmaster? Have you heard of it, Alex? A position called a webmaster.
Not.
Who's created a website before? Okay. You created a website before for a company, you create a website. Who's in charge of the website for a company? It's called, put in your notes, it's called a webmaster. A webmaster basically makes the updates. A webmaster is the person that's in charge saying what's going to be on the website, what's going to be deleted from the website, being updated. Okay, Alex? So that's called a webmaster. Now they have something called a bot master that is the creator of the chatbots' knowledge and also its intents. So let's say we were an airline. Everybody with me? We're an airline and we create a chatbot and somebody writes down, what's your policy in bringing a pet on board? What do we need then? Basically, we need the bot to be able to do what? To decipher what? The language that says pet in airline and find what's the requirements. Right? Who has an animal at home? Anybody? What do you have, Kate?
I have 3 dogs.
He has 3 dogs. What type of dogs are?
Bernie's mountain dog.
Okay. So let's say you wanted to bring your dog on. So you would ask what question? In normal English, you would ask what?
Ask the airline? Or
Yeah, ask the airline. What would you ask them?
can my dog come on the plane?
Can my dog come on the plane? Was that the same question that I asked? What is your pet requirements? So what does the chatbot have to do? Understand that dog is a pet. So basically, you have to come up with all the different versions of what somebody could possibly ask to understand it. We understand that, right? As soon as I said, what's the pet? And I said, what's the pet requirements? You, by inference, as a human being, as intelligent as you are, can figure out, do you have a pet? You say, yeah, I got a dog. Does anybody have a cat? Who has a cat? Okay, you have a cat, right? A dog and a cat are different, right? You know that. So it's my cat, or my pussy cat, or my feline. It has to figure it out. We can figure it out so simply, so quickly. But the computer traditionally has been, who hasn't signed up? Can you do me a favor, Evelina? Do me, write the numbers of everybody and then give it back to me. Right away. So, think about it. It's interesting in the way that, for example, an airline with an intent then, how to travel with pets, when asked the user, right, it has to be able to generate the intent and what the answer is. And put this in your notes here. You can put this up on the board too. There's something called NLU. Instead of just natural language processing, where I take voice to text, I need a chat to do natural language understanding. That I need to be able to figure out when I'm asking Kate, what are the rules to pets, that it's the same thing as asking, what about my dog? And how many dogs can I bring on board? It's completely different for the computer. Traditionally, it's been what? Fast but dumb. I don't know what a dog, I know pets, I don't know dogs. And now I need to know all the different types of dogs. Can I bring my Dalmatian? Can I bring my Greyhound? Can I bring my Pit Bull? Are there any restrictions? Do you understand how it can be? So there's now what they call, perfect. There's now what they call then, so the technologies offered by, and look who they use. Google, Amazon, or Microsoft do not have NLU, forcing the bot master to carry out manual and unitary trainings or variations of the same intent in order to provide the chatbot with minimal comprehensive capacity. How to travel with pets? May I travel with pets? The airline permit me to fly with pets? Can I take pets on board? So this is with the chatbot, and what you have to do is, right now, some of it you need human beings to actually put in all the alternatives, and then we can have it. So this is I'd like you to go through and you can look at this as an example of building a web chat. If I go back, and let's go to the very last one. AI, which is what? Artificial intelligence. ML, which is machine learning. And there's something else called deep learning. We have a eraser here anyway.
There wasn't one on the whiteboard.
Okay, do me a favor and see if there's like in the room across, yeah, across the hall or in the next one. Okay. So, how many people have human intelligence here? We all do, right? And what does it mean? Thank you so much. What does it mean, human intelligence? And human intelligence is a couple of things that we can understand, and what else? We can learn, and many times, whose mother used to say we want to learn from our mistakes, right? We want to, in terms of it, we don't mind making mistakes, but we want to learn from them, right? We don't want to do the same thing over and over again. What's the problem with computers many times? Are they fast, Kate? They can compute a lot faster than us. And if we have a formula, and if that formula is not correct, and we keep on running the program, will it keep on giving us the wrong answer? Yes. Right? If it's the same formula, right, it'll keep on going. And what do we want to do is, a lot of times the humans will say, hey, I found the problem, or I found the mistake. Well, we'll do what? We'll correct the formula, and then we'll get the correct answer the next time. Or we'll make inferences. What does it mean, inferences? When you say you have a pet, right? And then I say, I have 2 German Shepherds. You make the inference of what kind of pet do I have, Kate?
Dog.
A dog. You make that. I mean, it's simple, right? But a computer, I say I have a pet. Did you say dog? You didn't say dog. You had to have German Shepherd. So now it has to figure out a German Shepherd is a dog. It's basically, when you see basically sentiment, can you see a lot of times if somebody's upset, By their face? Can you see when they're happy? Can you get a sense of that, Kate?
Yeah.
Or when they're laughing, I show you a laughing, or I show you a smiling face, or I show you a stern look. That you have to teach a computer with. It's not so simple, right? What is it about a face that you're looking at that tells it it's happy or tells it it's sad? And it may be different in nuances in different countries. You know, in the United States or even different parts of the United States, it may be a different ways to look versus other ways, right? When some people are more reserved than others. All those nuances then are there. So what has come about is this idea of artificial intelligence. And what is artificial intelligence? Rachel, what do you think artificial intelligence is?
Like using machines to like interpret.
What are we trying to do? What's the purpose? Is we're trying to act like what? What is artificial intelligence doing? What are we trying to act like? The machine is trying to act like a human. So a human does what? It can learn, right? It can infer. It can make conclusions. It can correct its mistakes and learn from new patterns. All those things that traditionally the computer was not able to do. So what's the connection between artificial intelligence? What's the connection between artificial intelligence and cloud computing? And why artificial intelligence has been around a long time? Why can't it now blossom more than before? My answer is it's because cloud computing is evolved. And what's the difference? Why, Jake, do you think cloud computing gave it an impetus to artificial intelligence? What can I do with cloud computing? What's the purpose of cloud computing? Go back to your understanding of cloud computing. Help them out. Jacob, help them out. What's the idea of cloud computing? What can it do?
Store memory.
It can, but can I get it on demand? Can I increase my resources to huge amounts? Where here we have, let's say we have maybe here 256 gig. Or we have, in this case, we have 1 terabyte of disk space. Can I ask for 10 terabytes of disk space easily in the cloud? Jay? I can make it on demand. So those areas where I can have more computing power to a much higher degree for certain projects where I was limited before on budget, I can do that with cloud computing. Because whose resources am I using? I'm using Amazon's resources or Google's resources or Microsoft resources. They have a lot more resources than this little lab for individual computers. You know that for sure. So the advent, you can put this in your notes, the advent of cloud computing to make on-demand services allows me to get more buck for my money in artificial intelligence. So put this in your notes then. Artificial intelligence is basically a way to incorporate human intelligence to machines. AI has 2 groups. It's a general group that artificial intelligence, I can ask it any question in the world, or it's narrow. Usually, you can put in your notes, usually artificial intelligence has been good in very narrow areas. So for instance, let's talk about trading, right? I wanted to use artificial intelligence that I wanted to find patterns where I should buy or where I should short. Remember we were doing those algorithms? Those algorithms, in a way, we want it to trade for us. It's basically using algorithms. Then we have a subset of AI, which is called machine learning. And machine learning, loosely interpreted, means empowering the computer the ability to learn. And based on that, we have something called, put this in your notes, artificial, Jesus, huh? Artificial neural networks. And what are neurons? Anthony, what's a neuron? You heard of neurons before?
Yeah,
Okay. Where do they reside? You have any in your, you have them in your body? Where? In your brain, right? So they're like synapses, right? Basically of passing those neurons. And what do you think this is? Neural networks. They're trying to mimic what? This is the computer and it's trying to mimic what? Neurons in the brain. So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to use this, put this in your notes, to mimic the brain. And what did we say about the brain? You can make inferences, right, Anthony? And what else did we say? You can learn from your mistakes. One of the biggest ones that they use is fraud detection. They've been using machine learning, artificial neural networks with fraud detection. So stay with me, Anthony. You're almost on a roll. Not yet, but you're going to be there. Okay. So, do you have a credit card, Anthony?
Yeah.
You do. Somebody even just lost their debit card. That woman who lost her debit card, let's say we go and and maybe we even figure out her PIN or something, or if it wasn't, it was a credit card, and we go out shopping tonight, or you don't even have to go out shopping. What do you have to do? Just go online, right? And you have her debit card. Maybe we can even go into the dark web and we can find your PIN number, probably listed somewhere, right? We find it, we execute it. Who's responsible for that? She gets the bill, right, or she tries to use it or something. Who's responsible? Anybody ever get a call from a credit card company, from a bank about a credit card, possible fraud alert? Raise your hand if you got anything like that. Yes, Evelina, when did you get it? How long ago?
It was not me getting it, it was my mom getting it. We're shopping together and she bought something that was like expensive, and like they thought that it's like over her like usual daily limit, so yeah.
Okay, so it's a false alert, right? So what was the key? What was the, great Evelina, what was the trigger, you think? Over her limit, right?
It's like out of her like natural behavior probably.
Right. So put this in your notes here. What they do with machine learning and what they call data mining and artificial intelligence is they do pattern recognition. Put that in your notes. Pattern recognition. They look for patterns. So for you, Evelina, it's, hey, I really bought, something more expensive. Who else got a call? Yes. What did you get?
Mine wasn't like a false one. I was like doing a big purchase and they
Big purchase, again, out of the ring. And what did you get? Rachel, you got one too?
like somebody like stole my credit card number and like bought things.
So you got a real one. They got it, and what did they do? Did they contact you? And what did they say when they contacted you?
That they thought like my credit card had been stolen.
And based on what?
Like my purchase history.
Your purchases maybe in another city? I got one call that, when I got one that I saw it was in rubles, RU. I wasn't in Russia and I didn't buy anything, in Russia. Another one was went to Washington D.C. and I rented a car, and then you remember I'm cheap. So when you have to fill up your gas, when you have to return the car, it was like a few dollars, and I didn't want to pay the price at the car rental, so I stopped by the gas station for $2, filled it up, got a credit card alert. Why? They know I'm cheap, but why? What was the trigger?
Unusual purchase.
Unusual, but first of all, I was not in Miami, Washington D.C. Unusual because usually I fill up my car and I from a half a tank. And what else? Usually when people steal your credit card, when they physically steal it, they'd like to go to a gas station. Why? Maddie, why do you think they like to go to a gas station? Have you ever gone to a gas station filling up a car?
Yeah.
Did you have to give your card to a person?
Oh, no.
Where do you give it to? Machine. So if it's stolen and they're going to take it back with me, right? I'm like stuck, right? I go into a Gucci store or something, I buy a Rolex in some fancy jewelry store, right? I give my card, right? The guy's there, and then they got the guard at the door, locking the door, and then, they have that little button underneath, and the police come and arrest me, and they're going to see me in a perp walk. Remember? Oh, we knew her. She was nice, maybe. Sometimes she deserves it, right, or whatever. So I'd be walking out with my perp walk. The gas station is what? It's great, because what? I'm in a car. I'm right next to. I'll park right next to. I'll get the pump right next to US 1 there, and I'm off and going right when it rejects it. So that is so great. It's pattern recognition. So put this in your notes. What you do in artificial intelligence and ANN, artificial neural networks or machine learning, you can have what they call training. And you can have what they call supervised. Put this in your notes. Versus unsupervised. You see that, Alex? It's still beeping, huh?
Yeah.
The fire alarm. This is how good the controls are, right? Right, and this is the problem, right? And it could be actually, a fire and we wouldn't even know it because we're just so used to it. Okay, supervised versus unsupervised. So stay with me here. Put this in your notes. Supervised is when I have a hypothesis. I, as the user creating the model, I have a hypothesis. I have the data. And I know how to train. So basically what I'm going to do to the computer is I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell the computer, I'm going to give it data and I'm going to divide it up into two parts. So let's say we do fraud. How can I train the computer with my past data about fraud detection? Everybody understand the question? So Gina, what's the question?
You can train your computer about
What do we know? Let's take credit card, right? What is the, and let's think about a bank, Bank of America, Citibank, doesn't matter which one, right? We'll do with MasterCard. What does the bank know? It has transaction. What's a transaction? Just like Evelina, right? All the purchases you ever made, right, on your credit card are transaction. So think about all the ones you have. Think about all their customers, right? They have all their transactions. Do they know in the past what have been fraudulent transactions and what have not? Yeah. They know Rachel's, right? That it was. They would know my credit card was stolen when I got that rubles, right? As soon as they saw that, what did they do? They shut down my account. I got another one that they said I had to shut down my account because it was, somebody bought something in Ohio at the dollar store. You know, I would think, you know, I'm not shopping in Ohio in the dollar store. So what did they do? Look at what I'm doing right here on the board. They divide up the transactions to, I'm going to put then good transactions. And then I'm going to put fraud transactions. And then I want the computer to train on this and try to find what are the characteristics that differentiate between good transactions and fraudulent transactions. So one of the characteristics may be place. Right? Where was it done? Another characteristic may be the type of store. Another characteristic may be what? The limit. You remember that they contacted Evelina because it was too high? Another one may be the type of merchandise. Another one may be then whether it was that I may have been at the website. You know, I've never gone to a shady website or something. I'm just listing a couple of these. And then what they're going to do is they're going to put on weights. Like, I'm going to count this like 0.2. I'm going to count the store that they went into. For instance, if it's a Gucci store and they say, hey, you know, that Russian, she's cheap, she's never going to buy it at a Gucci store, right? So that's going to be, let's say, 0.3. And the limit, she never buys anything over $200, right? So the limit may be greater than, let's say, $1,500. And the type of merchandise. So it's find the pattern, and then there'll be another section of data where I'm going to train the computer, and then I'm going to test, and I know the results, but I want to see how well the computer can forecast whether it's a fraudulent transaction or it's a good transaction. And when they called Evelina, since machine learning can learn, what would you expect the machine to do? This is a good test question. Did you hear that, Maddie? Evelina said that hers was a false alert. What would you want the computer to do after she found it was a false alert? You would want it to take the data back to the algorithm and get it improved. That not only just because it was over the limit is not the reason that this was a transaction. Or they should have checked that I had an airline ticket to Washington, D.C., right? And I had to return the car because I rented the car on their credit card. They should have been more intelligent to tell me, hey, we don't have to worry about that because that's the car she rented. She was in Washington, D.C. because she had a round-trip ticket during that day. Rather than a lot of times I go to Europe, right? When I'm in Europe, they should know for my travel that I'm in Europe already. And that's their training. Unsupervised, put this in your notes, unsupervised means that you want the computer to find the pattern. So machine learning will have the ability to learn. Machine learning will, after Evelina's part, learn that that was a false alert, and the machine learning will take Rachel's and learn that, hey, we were right on target. And going back and changing the weights. And making inferences. And deep learning, put this in your notes, is another subset of machine learning that says it's going to have more levels and it's going to try to emulate the human brain. So, what's a level of machine learning? That I can do facial recognition. What's a level of machine learning? That I can understand language. Not only just the words that you're bringing, you're looking about your dog, or I have 2 German Shepherds on the plane. And which dogs need to be muzzled, which don't. So wrapping up, you can see that if I go back, right, that you can see in the deep learning, the difference here you can see between deep learning and artificial intelligence is another version that you can read through this of what is machine learning. The solution is not mimicking, but mimicking how humans learn. And deep learning is I'm going to be able to recognize not only an animal, but I can recognize a horse and I can recognize what's within a horse. And deep learning is even something like this. You never even think this is deep. Look at this. I was born in Italy, and although I lived in Portugal and Brazil most of my life, I still speak fluent what? Everybody read that last sentence? I was born in Italy, and although I lived in Portugal and Brazil most of my life, I still speak fluent what? What? Italian. Now, how would a computer know that? How did you know that? Although, right. So, but you see how in that way in which you get that you were born in Italy, so you think that you're still fluent in Italian, though you lived in Portugal most of my life. I still speak fluent Italian. The context. And that context is difficult then to train to the computer. And that's what you wanted to do, right? Is more and more, you just don't want it to mimic, but you want it to understand. And then what I also show you, who's used Tableau before, right? There's something called a RapidMinder. And that, look at this, is lightning fast data science for teams who use RapidMinder to, what did I say? Drive revenue, reduce costs, avoid risk. So what it allows you to do, rather than being a PhD in statistics, a PhD in operations research, is there's a way to do modeling similar to Tableau, where I do data preparation, and look at this, it will do machine learning and decide to do model deployment. So we'll look at this next week of looking at examples, but this is a company that will do machine learning for you. Now, let's do this. How do I get to Amazon Web Services? What is it for? Jake, what's Amazon Web Services usually for? What applications? What applications? Who can help them? Yeah, Gina. What? Cloud computing. And now look at this, AWS Deep Learning Containers. Let's do this. Jake, do me a favor. Go to aws.com. You there?
Yeah.
Where are you? You there?
Yeah.
And go to products. Everybody go to products. Does anybody see in products machine learning? Why does AWS, this is a great question, Maddie, why does AWS have machine learning as one of its products? Because what? It allowed me to do what? All my resources, Blaze, it allowed me to do what? I can order up on demand, and it then has built-in models that you don't have to be a data scientist, that you can use their models to do machine learning. Just like they're giving you now computing on the roll, they're giving you this. So if I go to machine learning, click on machine learning, machine learning on AWS, putting machine learning in the hands of every developer. AWS has the broadest and deepest set of machine learning and AI services for your businesses. Look how excited I am here, Blaze. You're just going to get so excited. It's just going to be amazing. Look here. You can choose from pre-trained, you remember how we said trained? AI services for computer vision. Who uses computer vision? What kind of applications use computer vision? Blaze, what kind of applications use computer vision? Everybody understand my question? What type of application would use computer vision?
Maybe like banks or something?
Who?
Banks, like a bank?
Bank could be in terms of looking at who's coming in. What else? Has anybody ever heard of autonomous vehicles? Do they need computer vision? Teslas, do they need computer vision to see is there a person? Is it a leaf? Is it a tree in front of me? Is it a person? Computer vision. Look what the next one says. Language. To interpret even language. If I want to go, let's say I even have an app. Have you ever seen those apps where you can do from English to Chinese? I can speak in English and then it'll convert to Chinese or to Spanish. What's the next one? It says right there. What's it say next? Blaze. On the screen. Huh?
Recommendations.
Like what? Have you ever seen recommendations on on Amazon or others?
Yeah.
Those, well, give me an example.
Like it'll after you click on something, it'll show you other things underneath that are similar to the product that you're looking
Right, or other people like that. So it may be even from the app for the kind of like more safety app for those type of people, like this type of driver. Recommendations, what's the next one? Forecasting. Amazon to quickly build, train, deploy machine learning models. So what can I do? If I want a recommendation module in my software, James, do I have to rewrite it? No, I can get their recommendation software, using what? Their cloud computing, using their machine learning software. So it's basically like I'm buying parts, I'm leasing parts, and I'm using it for my project. And the beauty is, when I finish my project, do I have to keep on paying? Yes or no?
No.
No. As you go. So it's almost like utilities. If I don't turn on the air, will my bill be lower? Yes. So basically, look at this. I'm just so excited about this. Or build custom models with support the popular open source framework. What's open source mean? Ryan, what's open source? Ryan, what's open source? What do you think open source is? Who can help Ryan on what's open source? Chris, what's open source?
It's like when you don't need to, when it's like open to anyone.
It's open to anyone. That the language is what? It's non-proprietary. So put this in your notes, Ryan. Open source means it's a language or it's software that is free and that the code is available to everyone. And that it can be modified by the community. So basically, if I use Google, if I use Microsoft, so if I go, what was Microsoft's cloud computing called? Anybody remember? Azure. So let's type in Azure. If you type in Azure, you see Microsoft Cloud Computing? Did you get it, Jacob? Azure, A-Z-U-R-E. You see down here it says intelligent, create intelligent apps using powerful data and AI services. That look like what we're talking about? Even besides it, developing breakthrough apps with built-in intelligence. Azure bot service, just like our chat. Build and deploy AI models at scale. And what does this say? Open platform, it sounds like what? Open source. Digital marketing, e-commerce, AI platform. And let's go back. Go to products. See, databases, developer, Internet of Things. Look at the first one. What does the first one say, Jacob? That I'm highlighting right up here. AI machine learning. And notice here in AI machine learning, we can do a bot, serverless bot services that scales on demand, added smart API capabilities. Put in your notes API. You'll see the word API. What is API? What's the, this is an acronym. What does it stand for? You need to know this for the exam. API. Chris, what's API? Look it up.
Application programming interface.
Yeah. What does that mean? I have an application. Microsoft or Google has a bot or has a recommendation. We want to use it. All we do is there's an interface and we connect. Right? We set up our whatever we want to do. We set up our drone. We set up our app for tutoring. We want to have a little chat box. All we do is we integrate it. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So now you see what the connection, when I look at cloud computing cave, like an Amazon, why they're going to include the machine learning, and I use their resources to do it. I'm basically using all their services and putting it together. And I don't have to get such a heavy-duty team they take care of my team to put it together, that they're helping me. I don't need to have the hardware, I don't need to have the software, I don't need it. Questions? So that's the essence of what I wanted to share with you tonight, is the idea of what artificial intelligence is, what machine learning is, and why it's so important and why we can proceed with that, because we are able to do it. And the whole idea is now what we want to do is we want it to improve, to learn. Just like, anybody used Siri before, right? That's an AI. It's starting to learn, right? In the beginning and trying to learn your patterns. You see it all the time in all the apps that you do. It's basically trying just not to take word for word, but trying to figure out what you want. Being an assistant. Trying in one language, then maybe they'll start doing the second language. Then think about video. Video really needs that deep learning because you want to find content in video. What is I want to give you videos that you really like, or videos that you can find. You know, you can search on keywords, but how do you search on video? They're starting to do that with recognition. How do I find those recommendations of those types of, with the movies you like? I like those type of movies, or finding even classifying videos for key aspects. How we do? So everybody have an understanding of what I want you to do beyond what the chapter is read those, go through those links, and now you'll have a better understanding between those. And then if you look at those AI business, right, you can see here, building these, you can see AI, if you just go to home, right, you can see so many industries now are thinking about it. How can banks get started with machine learning? Think about it. Remember we talked about, Jacob, we talked about Reg Tech last time for regulatory technology. Think about AML. What's AML? Anybody know? Look it up. You get credit for class participation, remember? You're between grades, it'll help. What's AML? Anti-money laundering. Do banks have to adhere to anti-money laundering if they want to be accredited? Jacob. Do banks have to worry about to comply with anti-money laundering sets? So, somebody comes to my bank, right? Fulmin comes to my bank with a suitcase of $10 million. Okay? It's heavy, all right? And one of the things is I have to figure out who is a suspicious character, because I have to report that, right, Jacob? So what do I tell? I tell Jacob, and Jacob is in charge of another group of people, and I say, Fu Ming came to my bank. I want you to go ahead and find out if he has any shady past and who's he been fooling with, and maybe he's been into some other, who's he hanging out with. That's going to take time, right? Yeah. A lot of time. Yeah. So basically, what they're thinking about machine learning is to have some bots to be able to do those searches and come back to Jacob and say, hey, we searched on this and he looks pretty legit. And the reason he has all this is his family had 100 million, and they just thought he was just so brilliant, and they wanted him to set up some businesses here in the United States since he was doing so well at the university. Right? And then they have one little suspicious thing, and then Jacob, you the human, can go and review that. You don't have to spend hours kind of doing the searches. So that's why they're using machine learning with the banks. So you can see that you can see a number of these. For Google attempts to boost ethical AI credentials, launches external advisory board. So the question is, just like with any type of technology, you can use it for ethical or unethical versions. Okay? Questions? I think we're finished with that. So the next part, what I want to do is I want to go to the audit area and look what you have done and then give you feedback. How many more weeks after this do we have before the presentation? 2. So we have 2 more weeks that I can give you before we do the presentations. So next week we'll do that. So let me go back to Blackboard. So you see what I want? I want these for you to go through, these last ones to read through for next week. Do you understand that? And then look at the questions that I had for RapidMinder. Go to the links here. For RapidMinder, go to Solutions. Go to Fraud Detection. Everybody at rapidminder.com, go to Solutions for me and go to Fraud Detection. Identify fraudulent activity quickly and end it. Fraud eats at many organizations. It not only negatively impacts profitability and other business results, but ability to serve customers and achieve the mission. So what you want is to see, can the computer help me, just like we did in credit cards? Look at this, you're going to be so excited. Identify patterns of fraud. Evelina, you remember we were doing that before?
Yeah.
Monitor activity for signs of fraud. And stop fraud quickly, detect fraud quickly and early enough to take action before it's widespread. Reduce costs and improve service. This is an excellent way in which they have a use case, and then you look at fraud detection use case. U.S. state auditor deploys machine learning to tackle healthcare fraud at scale. By detecting a network of fraudsters. By the way, Miami is the headquarters for Medicare fraud. We're number 1. So if you wanted to know what we were number 1 in, that's what we're number 1 in. Okay? And what is it? That it basically, the pattern is a lot of these people either go to jail for a couple of years for millions of dollars and they say, hey, that's worth it. Or they get on a boat somewhere and go to Panama or Cuba or somewhere. And they're out of here. Okay, so I'm going to go now to Blackboard. I'm going to go to my audit area. I'm going to course documents. So Gina and Tiffany. So tell me what you've done. Where is it? Have you done anything?
Decided to keep our idea.
What?
We decided to keep our same idea about the fitness app.
Okay, and what have you done? Have you done a website yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so for next week, I'm going to require you to do your, because we don't have a lot of time. I like the fitness app, so that we got to do 2 things. I'm going to require, you're going to be getting credit on it. I want you to do a website, and what I suggest you do is you can even use, you can start off with the free one and then upgrade to the premium. The advantage of upgrading the premium, you get your own URL, so you can call it fitness tracker, you see what you can get that's original. Plus you can get the premium version that you can get extra tech support on it. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is for everyone, I want you to already do a draft of your app. So you need to go to Google and you need to search app for non-programmers. or app development for non-programmer, or app tools for non-programmers. So you can use like a prototype, just like Wix, you don't need a program, that you can then present your app without programming. AppyPie is one, Fluid UX, there's a number of ones out there. You can even put in a note there where you'll do a review, and you can try to see which one's the easiest that you can use, that you can do a prototype of start creating them. Do you understand that? So we're set for it for next week. We cannot, I won't allow you, I'm part of your group, and I won't allow you to delay anymore. Okay?
Can you say the examples of the app development software
Yeah.
that you just said?
So we'll go to Google now together. Look at this, app development tools for non-programmers. So here's some of them. Here, best app tools for non-programmers. 25 simple tools for building mobile apps fast. 7 tools to help you build an app without writing code. You see those? 5 top mobile apps. What are the best? You see that? Google releases a non-programmer's app building tool, the Inquirer. Does that help? Yes.
So what do we need to have ready next week?
Huh?
What do we need to have ready next week?
Next week, I want you to have a draft of your website and a draft of your app.
Okay.
So I can give some comments to it, rather than doing it, because you know what I don't want, is that the last week you do your presentation, and I say, you know what, you got so much work to do. I'd rather have it, that last week and you do a presentation, I like it to say, hey, great, just make little tweaks to it. And we're finished, you know what I mean? Where you've done it, rather than the final project is due the time of the class. When's our exam? Anybody, tell me the date.
May 1st.
May 1st. Right? So May 1st, it doesn't leave us a lot of time. That's when the final project is due. At the time of your presentation, I can give you feedback, but what I want to do is say, hey, it's perfect. Or, hey, that's an A project. I don't want to say, hey, that's a C- project, and these are all the things that you have to do to improve it. And you say, hey, do you have it? Who has other exams besides this? Who has other homework besides this, right? So we just have so much time that we can spend on that. So that's why I'm making sure, kind of like in our agile development, that every group has a website and has their app done, and then I can next week, I can give you feedback. Okay, add this. You're not clear here. I want you to make sure that your team is, that you have an overview. Does that help? Because I'm part of your group, and as I mentioned before, I have no qualms giving every group an A. I have no qualms giving every group a C. I don't want to, right? I want to give every group, if they deserve it, they've done a good job, why not? At least to do the best you can. And that you can take it with you, and that you understand. Okay, so Maddie, what's going on with your groups?
I'm starting a website.
And did you publish it?
Yeah.
Where is it? Go up?
Yeah, it's the link.
Okay, do me a favor, put this in your notes too. Can you put that up there, Alex? Make sure on your project you have a linkable URL. So I don't have to copy it here, right? You have a linkable. And then later on, you see how it says, you see how, Maddie, it says MAS 745 www.wixsite.com, my site. When you use the code, then you can come up with a URL. What was the topic?
The tutor.
Then, so you can call it tutor me or tutor us, or you know what I mean? You can give it a website that the people can remember, and it also looks professional. But let's see what it looks like. Okay, great. First of all, even something like that, Tutors on Demand. See if you can get a URL that's similar to that, you know? tutorsondemand.com or biz or whatever. Great, that looks good. Become a member and get 10% off your first session. An hour starting at $18. Wow. Broadcast, personal. Looks good. And then services.
I didn't like do most of those yet. I just kind of.
No, but we got to start. There's something to say. Don't you feel better? You know what I mean? It gives you some self-confidence right there. Everybody can see it. Price list. You know, and then you can, you know, in the price hold list, we got to do laundry and shoe repair, right? We got to work about it, okay? And then in about, we should see all of your team members. And then there should be a social media, you know, down below or something. Create that as well. Or at home. You know, that later on you can put it, you see here Facebook and my Twitter. Create a Facebook and create a Twitter. So when I click on it, you'll have that as well. And fill it up. So you can have one person that in the group say, hey, you do the Twitter, you do the Facebook. Everybody knows how to do that. And you can do the link. You got the idea? And then next week I want you to basically have that so you can think about it. And then later on you can even think, be an affiliate, Maddie, that you know, if you broadcast, you'll get a reduced rate if, you know, you want to share with us, you know, want to have personalized. Personal sessions, group sessions, one-on-one, broadcast, group, and then you can have it. Great. At least we got to start. Okay. What's next? Okay. Kayla, what's up?
Will you read a draft of our website?
Okay, where is it?
It's down there.
Okay, do everybody see that it's linkable? And the same thing, that later on the draft, then you can do it. So tell me what this is, rejoining.
It's for our app that has to do with like helping college students find cheap eats around
Okay.
close to campus.
At least we got nice pictures about us, see our story. And do you have your pictures and stuff?
Not yet.
Okay. Download the app, and then this is what you need to work on. You have your group, right? Work on that. Stay in touch, and then partner with us, and then the same thing. See here? Create then Facebook at least, and the social. Create some of these as well. And it's nice coloring. They do a nice job with that Wix now with their design. You know what I mean?
It was really easy.
Huh?
It was really easy.
Easy, but also it looks nice. You know what I mean? That's why it really looks, they have nice designers there. So once you do this and once you have this, then I would do, and then each of you can do it, get the certificate, why not? You'll use it. Okay, perfect. Not perfect yet, but you know what I mean? We're on the road. Okay, what's next? James and Evelina, what's up? What am I looking at?
So
Where?
Scroll down.
it's like a draft of where we're going with our website. We basically added like all the main categories of how it's gonna look like, and now I just gotta like make it.
Well, are we doing an app too? Let me see, okay, about us. So this is, we need a, yeah.
Oh, it happens? Okay. It's about us. Go to the homepage.
Yeah, this is way too many words. Who can read this? You understand? You see this, James, when you look at this? I mean, you're filming, you see this, who's gonna read all that? I'm not, you're not, right? You gotta get it to the point. If you don't get it right here, right, few words of what you're trying to say, you know? And Simply Healthy, you have no clue what's going on here. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't even start with, let me go to home here, right? Okay, I'm at home. The only app you'll ever need to stay healthy. So a little bit personalized meal plans, okay. I don't know if the only app you'll ever need to stay healthy, but give me, I'd even say, well, what is this app that's gonna help me stay healthy? Give me more, you know, it looks like too much, for me, too much hype. I wanna say the only app, you know, but
You gotta
think about
promote
it.
yourself.
you know what I mean? But anyways, staying healthy via what, you know, or something. Educate yourself with a healthy blog, okay, but we gotta start. Okay, the About Us needs to be plans and prices. Okay, regular membership 0, so what do I get? Okay, so it's a start. Okay, this is Let's Chat, this is with us or what?
Yeah, that's with the.
Okay, and then I do a social media thing too, so add that as well.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's see your app as well for next week. Okay, got it. Yes,
Stay and listen to other, like, people review the website or?
yeah. So we can get some, because then I'll come up with other ideas. Okay? All right, what's next? Leah, Dan, and Tyler? They here?
We don't have our website up yet, we'll have it up by next week.
Do you understand what you need?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hira, Mohammed, and Rui? They're not here. Group 7. Is this it? Daniel, Evan, and Ryan? What's up?
We have a website, but we just didn't publish it yet.
Okay, publish it. Publish it now. And I'll look at the end of the class. Okay. Okay, my group A with Max, Shaylee, and Jen. What's up?
We're still working on it.
You okay? You don't have anything published? Okay. You need to stay with me after class. We gotta figure this out. Okay. Aiden, John, and Tyler. My group 9.
They're not here.
Group 10. What's up? Chris, Ryan?
We have a website, it's published.
Okay.
It's not like complete, but we have a rough draft going. Like we
Okay.
said- No, it's under business proposal.
Okay, do me a favor, put it just right here. Folks, right here, put your websites and all right here so I can click. I don't have to go down further, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Project Web, yeah, and put the URL too, so I see the URL as well. Okay, so let's open. So this way we got ideas. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so aerial, professional drone videography, okay. And UM here is supposed to be what? What's the purpose
That's
of?
just, well, if you look up top, it shows the tabs. So
Okay.
it shows media gallery, home, media gallery, bio, video player.
And what's bio?
We haven't filled it in yet,
Okay.
but that's gonna be like
Okay.
about our business, I
Okay.
guess. And then you just can keep scrolling, and then we have our videos, like
Okay,
business works
okay,
and
okay.
content.
Okay, so we need it, and also let's do Facebook and Twitter or something, we can add that as.
Yeah, we only need, we started an Instagram, do we only need one social?
I would do 2,
Okay.
at least 2.
Alright.
Do an Instagram and then do either Facebook or Twitter, some other social. Okay, what's next? I have my course documents. So that was which group? 10, 11. Cindy, Blaze, Sabrina, what's up?
We each made our own website because we're all just playing around with
Okay.
it, so we all have our.
Okay, so which one do you want me to look at?
You can look at mine.
Okay. Okay, and now let's make, then for next week, let's combine it and let's figure out. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, ride safe, this is the ride safe kind of thing, okay. What we do, children, okay. I think it's called, what was the other one? I thought it was called Zoom? Did you look at the competitor?
Yeah, we looked it up.
Did you look up that competitor? So how are you gonna be different from them?
Well, they're kind of focused on a different. They're only in one area, and then we're gonna be different by we're including not just like the private car, but you can also book ahead of time and like schedule like weekly
Oh, okay.
rides.
Okay, so just emphasize that.
Okay.
Okay, all right, 11, 12. So what do we got?
We gotta talk to you after class.
Okay, fine. And what is group 14? Is group 14 anything?
Yeah, it's us.
Okay, and can you, so it's who? So do me a favor and put,
It shows up on my website, I don't know why.
why does it not show up on mine? So can you make sure?
I'll see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, figure that or stay after with me. Okay, what else? So what am I looking at?
It was like, we have like a rough sketch of it, it's there, but
Okay,
it's not finished.
okay. And what does it do?
Hmm?
Give your home some shine. So what is this? This is cleaning? Okay. It was a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. And what is Christopher David?
That
Okay.
was just the default.
Okay,
We have
okay.
to finish it up.
And about us? Do we have about us? Do you have a who? Okay, you haven't done any. Okay, all right, but it's good. You gotta start. You know what I mean? And I like the idea. I mean, it's doable. You can understand it. It's not completely. And you can start in one city and then you can grow to others. It's almost like all the other kind of thing. Okay. So we got something to do. So what are we doing? Let's review so everybody knows. So James, we'll start with you. What's due for next week? Okay. Which one? Chapter what? Chapter 10, the ERP quiz. Okay, what else?
Website.
For sure. Well, and then we want to read the URLs, the last 4 URLs on the link. And then we have to complete, we want to do a complete rough draft of my website, including everything about you. It should have everybody's picture on there, descriptions of everybody. It should already have the social media. And then we want to do app development, right? So you want to have one app that you're trying, you may try out, a couple of you trying out different apps, seeing which one works. You may even want to do the thing like Blaze was doing. Everybody will do their website, everybody do an app, kind of like the beginning, and you say, hey, I found an easier app. You know what I mean? So I think we're set. So next week, I'll have all of them, and I'm going to stay next to talk to the other groups that I need to see what are the issues. Okay? All right. So that's a wrap. A wrap.